Welcome to Everyday Happiness, where we create lasting happiness in 2-ish minutes a day through my signature method of intentional margins, creating harmony between your to-dos and your priorities, happiness science, and musings about life. I'm your host, Katie Jeffcoat, and I was wondering why our brains are attracted to the negative. As a happiness curator and human who actually has negative and destructive thoughts, like all of us, I was curious why our brains are so easily attracted to the doom and gloom, and what can we do about this? After listening to Shawn Achor in his TED Talk tell us that positivity is so incredibly beneficial, I went down the rabbit hole of trying to figure out why it feels so hard sometimes. It's so much easier for our brains to go negative. It's taking the easy way out. It turns out this is literally how we were made. Our brain evolved to scan for problems and danger, and it is skilled at finding problems when it looks. It's how we survived as a species. Our brain was developed to keep us alive, and this is just how it worked. If there was a threat, our brain would release fight or flight chemicals, and this has been passed down to us through our DNA. But now, we don't need to be worried about the lion attacking us in our sleep. But our brains don't know that. It is still scanning for the negativity and risk so that it can keep us alive. Our brains also create patterns. It's why these 3 minutes of negative news in the morning affects our day. Even 8 hours later, we're 27% more likely to report a negative day. Shawn Achor says this negative news is transforming the course of our day and our society. What we know is that it's not the reality that shapes us, but the lens we view the world through. Shawn Achor says happiness does not stop us from change. It gives us the belief that change is actually possible. So to counterbalance this evolutionary trait, right, in our brains, we must intentionally create positivity circuits in our brain. We must establish new patterns. And over time, when done consistently, those patterns will start to become dominant. It will be easier to see the patterns, to see the positivity, even in the face of negativity. When we scan the world for gratitude and look for the positivity each morning, our brains develop new neural connections and patterns that rewire our brains. So we're building our mental muscle to look for positive. And this is especially important when we're under stress, which is inevitable. Your brain knows you have this exercise to scan for gratitude. So it knows it needs to collect data for it. So it's working in our favor. That's why it's so important to do this now when you maybe are not feeling a tremendous stress or negativity. What the science is finding is that happiness and gratitude is easier for some people, given their genes and their environment. But given the habit exercise of finding gratitude, you can move yourself from a pessimist to a low-level optimist. When we find ourselves in a negative cycle, we can be intentional about looking for uplifting activities that pull ourselves out of this negative mindset. This can be jumping jacks, a call to a friend, a walk outside. Try to redirect your attention away from the negative thoughts and onto positive thoughts, positive memories. Another way is to savor positive moments. This looks like paying extra attention to the positive moments and remembering and reliving the moments later by journaling the small moments of a positive memory. You want to store positive experiences in your long-term memory. And one way to do that is to really savor the experience. So when something good happens, take a moment and really focus on it. Focus on the feeling you are experiencing and the happiness that it evokes. Until next time, remember, kindness is contagious.